May your prey never catch your scent.
Baby llama don't have no time for drama.
All right, you have my attention.
Who's Questumus? Oh, I bet she's outside. Maybe here. Yeah.
The Wild Hunt welcomes you.
Hello there.
Shit. I forgot this new thing works. Oh well. Bye, Felicia. Ooh, neat. Garbage, but neat. Alrighty. Let's see. One moment. Close my browser. There we go, better FPS. Don't care, don't care. Nah. I can do that. Zoom, zoom, zoom. I want you in my room. Baby llama, don't have no time for drama.
The hunt must go on.
Since, yeah.
Watch the shadows.
What the fuck am I on? This is like anime-esque. And now we play the Autopath game. What's that about? I just turned to like my owl for like a split second. Weird. Oh shoot, is there Brand Crusade engines? Hmm. Nah. Can't be bothered. Such a pretty zone. Look, ma, no hands. Or that's like the Emerald Dream. Hmm. Why was it glowing? Whatever. I haven't discovered this area. OCD. There we go. Feels good, man. I'm a big freaking owl. With antlers. Antlers? I don't know. Owl antlers.
The Forsworn have fortified this area with their most adept warriors. Strike them down. Courage be with you.
Where's the chest at? I'm confused. Here? Aha! Oh, it's locked.
Your Archon cannot save you!
Dudes, these guys are tough.
I regret nothing.
Teamwork makes the dream work. Where'd the guy go? He just, hey, nope, that's not you. Maybe? Here, you get him speed boost. Speed boost? What's wrong with my brain? Movement speed boost. Alrighty.
You could have joined us!
combat.
Prepare for trouble and make it double.
Too much damage.
Zoom, zoom.
Very well.
No, trinkets I'm not using. I am bad. Here we go.
Our cause lives on.
The big boy. There we go.
I'm blessed with a new opponent.
Hulk smash.
You cannot stand against the Forsworn.
My service ends.
Where are these guys coming from? Hello, nice to meet you. I wasn't planning for all of you guys, so yeah.
I've trained eons for this.
Keontae.
Today, you have proven that we will not give in to doubt. Bastion will never surrender.
You cannot stand against the Forsworn.
Alrighty, that was fun. Does have reason to like help somebody out in the world.
Welcome. Browse at your leisure.
Wait, I pass it? Or is this it? I did pass it.
For you, I offer only the finest.
What can I get rid of? So much crap in this bank. It's still full. Holy moly. I don't need this shit anyways. Whatever.
You struck a hard bargain. Good shot. How may I assist?
Oh my crap.
I know our endeavors will prove profitable.
That's really how you think that. So that's a waste of money, because I'm not a smart man.
May I tempt you with my wares?
Dude, what? How many crafting agents do I have? Holy crap. Oh. I am done. Why don't you guys stack? That's okay, whatever. I have 8 keys, so I should be looking for like 9 or 10. That's why I use my key. I'm probably going to use my key. Alrighty. It's easy for me. Okay. It's +8, right?
All goods and services for sale.
It's not a key. List of journeys. I don't know who the fuck that is. Whatever. Damn, the guy that helped me the other day's online. Well, shit.
What do you seek? Keep to the path.
Their name Pima Colt? Oh, Panda Colt.
Five, four, three, two, one.
Let's go. Ba-da-ba-da-ba. Okay. He's about to die. Alrighty. What's this bullshit? I need stamina. I'm just doing that bullshit. I need this green one then. Hell yeah, dog. Hell yeah. It burns us. Damn it. There we go, guys.
Yay! More friends are here to play! Come along! Can you find your way through the mist? Choose wisely.
So consider show the way. One does not belong. One you must follow.
No fooling you. You did it! Good guess.
This death knight keeps like taking like massive damage. I don't know why. They're definitely doing it.
Hooray! You're almost there.
Oh jeez. Why me? I don't understand how this little mini game works.
Hooray! You're almost there.
The big bitch. Dude. Healer, bruh.
No fooling you.
That's be the volume or something. Inadvertently too. That's awkward. System sound. Yeah, it totally got muted.
You did it! Good guess.
Alrighty. Oh no. Our tank disconnected. Meantime, I can like zoom in. It's interesting looking rodent.
We're gonna have so much fun. Hey, catch! Will you play with me? Pretty please. One of us is much like the others. Be fast.
I'm gonna die. Yeah.
Feeling tired?
Lovely.
Will you play with me? Pretty please. Think fast.
Ripperino. Huh.
Wow, you're really good at this. Bet you can't dodge this. A special gift just for us. Bet you can't dodge this. Bet you can't dodge this. Will you play with me? Pretty please. Bet you can't dodge this. One of us is not like the others. Will you play with me? Pretty please. Think fast.
we had such a good run to go down to.
A special game just for us. Hey, catch! That wasn't me, silly. Wow, you're really good at this. Hey, catch! Will you play with me? Pretty please. Think fast. A special game. To bet you can't dodge this. Think fast. A special game just for us.
This is taking forever. Piss up my ass.
Bet you can't dodge this. Aw, are you one of us is not like the others? Bet you can't dodge this.
I don't understand what the difference is.
Will you play with me? Pretty please.
Oh, maybe it's the ring around it. These other ones have a ring, but this one does.
Think fast.
That makes sense.
You're really good at this. Hey, catch! A special game just for us. That was fun. I haven't played like that in so long. Let's do it again.
The time for play has passed. The winds urge us forward.
Okay. No more mists. Hey, this doesn't look right. It doesn't look right at all.
Tyrna's scythe withers as the Gorn feast. Balance must be restored.
I must get booped off. Really? Really, guy? Why are people from Quiltloss always trash? Like, I don't understand. Kill me, bastard. Oh boy. How do you keep fucking dying, Death Knight? This guy's responsible for like almost all the deaths. His 4 of his deaths, and then 1 of mine. Got 5 minutes left. So I'm about to read my goddamn key.
Consume, devour, feast, boom, boom. Become so much more. You can't escape.
Oh.
I must have more. Enlightenment dawns upon me. Your actions are easy to anticipate.
Anticipate this dick. Hello.
Your ignorance made man your flesh. Well, your actions are easy to anticipate. The lightless abyss of your psyche.
No, that's not good. That's not good, but they kill everybody.
Predict your exquisite knowledge.
Alright, so eat, I guess.
The collie slumbers, knowledge intact.
No, just power.
Is sad.
So just a bunch of trash loot.
Tyrannus will remember you. Always.
Always watching you.
These Spriggans need to be stopped. I say we give them a taste of their own medicine.
I hate fairies. Oh, he left. Well, so much for that.
I trust your hunt goes well.
Went so well. Let's see. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. I'm lost. It's this way, I think. Yeah. Too bad I don't use any of that crap, like at all. Just legit nothing. What should I do now, coach? That was quick.
Greetings, friend.
Okay,
Carry a song in your heart.
but I want to. Hmm. Yeah, I can't do any of these things, can I? Maybe this one. There we go. 3 days. 3 days remaining. 3 days, 22 hours, 2 days, 11 hours, let's see. Oh, that's neat. Huh. Worthless, but neat.
Tend to the tree, shape its growth.
Okay. Wait, item upgrades. What is this?
I hunt for Ardenweald.
Huh? Oh. That doesn't seem worth it. That doesn't seem worth it at all. Ah, no, that's not worth it.
True.
Something for every occasion.
Cute, I guess, but no. I dig it. What's that? Looks cool if I didn't look like a demon. Look at my eyes. Yeah, I wouldn't hang out with me. Alrighty.
Again.
No, probably won't. Let's see. Let me go look at the guide for, I don't know, loot from the weekly thing. Hmm. I get 262 here. I had to get like a 10 or higher to get higher than that. This is fine with me. This is fine. Alright, let's go do something else. I wonder if there's any raids going. In an hour, they only kill 2 bosses. You know, I'll sign up. Fuck it. Wait, where's the world boss at? Nope, I don't know what to do then. I wish there was like quest rewards are actually worth doing. There we go. That's not bad. That's probably something good I need. So let's go do that. Well, let's see. Yep, so.
My bow is at the ready. Until next time. For so long, there had been little more than hatred and malice in our sister's eyes. To at last see a glimmer of the Sylvanas we knew.
I had ceased hoping for such a thing. I am pleased we had a chance to speak with her, Verisa.
I only wish we'd had more time.
As do I. But if she stays true to her word and sees this obligation through, perhaps one day we will.
It will never be like it was before. The pain she inflicted upon the Kaldoroi, upon the world. How could she ever answer for it?
I'm not certain she can. But if her penance brings any measure of peace to those she wronged, at least it is a start.
You are right, Lady Sun. Our family has endured so much darkness. We must find a way to cling to hope.
Yes, Little Moon. Mother. Father. Lilith. They are only memories. We thought our sister was as well. But now, we shall see.
How may I serve? Order
Speaking of which, let me go ahead and
restored.
bam.
Greetings, mortal. This crisis will...
Let's listen to Drama Time.
Holla ballers and a brofist to you all! Another disgustingly good week has been had over in the PGHQ. Not only have we crafted wonderful things, but we managed to reach out and talk to Squeenix about hopefully putting together a wonderful little collab roundtable, something or other about the amazing ultimate that just took place and has now been defeated by some amazing players around the FF14 community. Their very own world first race for one of the, I think I'd celebrate as the most difficult fight they've ever put forward, with twists and turns and time travel and choices to make as to how to proceed on the fight. It's been an extraordinary week. We've smashed out all the Heavensward extremes. I have met my best extreme yet in Shinryu, which has been an extraordinary experience as we're now working through those and having great fun, and every day finding brand new wonderful things to have fun with. It's been an amazing week. Super, super fun. And we're going to round it up, of course, with some drama time. Some drama time from around the world. And for our new viewers, what is drama time? Simple, really. You probably bump into all sorts of weirdos while you're online gaming.
I have
When you're roaming around Limsa or Orgrimmar or wherever it might be that you decide to hang out, you bump into all sorts of strange ones that invite you to free companies and guilds, and they tell you of all the wondrous things they promise. Nothing but dreams and celebrations await you if you should accept that invite. And then you find them weirdos, the creepers, the strangers, the ones that may turn your life upside down in a way you didn't think possible in an internet world. But it happens. And let me share those stories, not just for our entertainment, but also as a warning. A warning that must be served to everybody else out there in the world to watch out for those red flags that go rising above the horizon. So if you have a story like that and you want to share it with us, you can do that at drama@preachgaming.com via the email supermachine. Or you can even go to our website, preachgaming.com, and you can submit it there, and it will arrive in front of my eyes, and we can share and regale each other with these stories. And one of them that I've been given here is Cocaine Santa Claus, an FF14 nightmare involving Lalafels. Actually kind of excited. Actually kind of excited. But before that, we need to do some learning. That's right. We don't just come here for smiles. We come to do some learning. That's what it's all about. A bit of learning to get ourselves ready for the weekend, because that makes us smarter people, right? So noteds on standby. So last week we had a very, very cool story about the ghost of the wetlands. A very old man in his retirement who found it nothing but a joy to die from very scary crocodiles and then roam around the wetlands as a ghost trying to torment the living. And actually found hours and hours and hours of entertainment doing just that. But we were interested in how powerful this man was IRL. He was described by our author as a Daibat, and he had the authority over his family, where he could decide if you should quit your job. You could decide all kinds of things, sell your house and move, and all sorts of stuff, which terrified the remainder of the family when Arthur kind of goofed, but didn't goof, was being very polite, but it didn't matter, and ultimately had to apologize and do all kinds of things. And so we tried Googling it. We did our best to do some learning all by our damn selves, and it didn't work out. But our author has followed up with some explanation. Preacher, this is not a story. I just wanted to give you some info about the Daibat system, since you were trying to find it out during the show. So here we go. Some noteds ready. Daibat is part of a formal family structure you'll find in all of the big Cantonese expat communities around the world, mostly in Team Australia, Team USA, and of course, the beloved moose-loving country of Canada. I understand it didn't survive the one-child policy in China, but it can still be found in that there Hong Kong. I know about it because my wife is a Dai Mo, the female equivalent. Oh shit! Dai means biggest, Bat means father, and Mo means mother. So your wife's a big cheese. You become a Daibat or a Daimo by being chosen by the previous Daibat or Daimo, Godfather style. We knew my wife had the gig when her Daibat, her grandfather, invited her to mediate in family disputes on her behalf, telling the participants that she spoke with his authority. Oh shit. When Daibat left everything to my wife in his will, it became official. Everyone in the extended family of 200 plus people began addressing my wife as Daimo, including her parents. She sent around photos so they could update their household shrines. Shrine? The household shrine. Sent around photos to update the household shrine. That's a bit scary. The privileges of the Daibat explained in the story are 100% accurate. In addition, though, Daibat or Daimo is the executor and sole beneficiary of everybody's will. There are some exceptions if you die married. When you die, your possessions pass directly to Daibat or Daimo, who will spend 20% on a solid gold statue they will keep in their house and display at family events. The rest of the inheritance they will distribute among the family as appropriate. It's all very formal, isn't it? My wife has a stack of these golden statues in our spare bedroom, like an Oscar Awards ceremony. I tell you, it is not able to sell them, and they're a total pain in the ass. Just this fucking collection of gold statues. They must be worth a fortune as well if they're solid gold, right? The ability to name children is a big deal. Yeah, that was right. Yeah, they were allowed to name children. They were allowed to name their children. There are blessed names and there are cursed names. When my wife was small, she had an uncle who married a woman against Daibat's wishes. Apparently, this woman was from a family that was partly Japanese. Lagasp. Oh no. Oh no. Daibat named their first child the worst cursed name of all, Rainbow. What's up with Rainbow? Oh, you might be asking, why is Rainbow a cursed name? Well, oh my god, because in our culture... Oh, this is really dark, actually. Any guesses? Rainbow is bad. It is actually bad, yeah. Does anybody know? If anybody can guess why Rainbow is an awful name, it's really dark. It's like woefully, painfully dark. No, okay, this is why. Because rainbows are very pretty, but they don't last long. That's fucking frosty. That's frosty. That's frosty as shit, dude. That's some cold ass shit. And sure enough, and sorry to say, little Rainbow did not make it. Oh god. Oh, so you name them when at conception or when you're aware of it? That's really dark. Damn. After losing Rainbow, naughty uncle divorced the bad woman and married someone more appropriate to Daibat's wishes. The next child's name was roughly translated to English was Happy Favorite and has grown up to be a vet. Success. I hope you found this little learning experience interesting. I did find it interesting. It kind of sounds shit, though. Not to shit on a culture, but not for me. Let me put it that way. Not for me. I will pass. I will pass on that situation. If that's okay with you, I will not do that. Because that's not my favorite thing. Okay. Cocaine Santa. Cocaine Santa. Eladel, our wonderful website supporters. Salty, lovely name. Cunning. Omu Hound. Ghoul's Gold. Okay, those are the names for this. Okay. Max is bad at video games and their culture. I imagine I would be the diebat, honestly. But I wouldn't go, like, naming horrible names. I wouldn't do that. I would imagine I'm diebat. Now that I think about it, I'm probably diebat. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. Ahoy, preacher! And the lovely Methuselah, heart, heart, heart. I told a story a very long time ago called In Hospital But Raid, though. And I would like to once again thank you for reading my tale. I felt like at the end of the last story, everyone was kind of concerned about me. I even had a few of your viewers track me down just to message me their good wishes, and I thought your viewers were really super sweet. Stalkers. You fucking stalkers. You're stalkers. That's what you are. You stalkers. Hunting people down. But I do have another tale to share you. And I want you to listen to this one because it will show you that things are generally looking up for me. And while this tale isn't as ridiculous or long as my last, I had a few friends tell me recently that I should write in. Plus, you've said lately you want more FF14 stories. I want stories from everywhere. I really do. Because the idea that the craziness of people is limited to like World of Warcraft or even FF14 is pretty ridiculous. So allow me to present you the Cocaine Santa Claus. My story begins on the night of New Year's Eve. You didn't put the year. Maybe we could work it out. Which I had planned to spend in my room grinding and gathering an FF14. Salut, my friend. Salut. New Year's Eve, what are we doing? Professions. That's what we're doing. We're doing professions and we're grinding. I've never been the most festive person, so this wasn't a bad thing to me. Rather, I prefer it over having to awkwardly spend time with my brother who hates me. Jesus, have you got no other choices? It's FF14 or your brother on New Year's Eve? That's it. Make more choices. That's the strat. Trust. My plans to spend my night alone were thwarted, however. Oh no. By my best friend. She encouraged me to actually get involved with our free company. Wait, are you in the crawlers? Is this about the New Year's Eve party we had? Because that party was fucking sick. And if you shit all over our party, I'm not going to be happy. And despite my shyness, yes, even in game, I joined their voice channel and started talking with everyone while we all played our separate games. We spent quite a lot of time joking around and enjoying each other's company as the night went on, before one member of my free company, Eladel, suddenly began sharing their screen. Oh no. Their Catgirl character was repeatedly trying to get into a player house in Mist. And after exchanging a few questions, we all learned she was trying to get into a nightclub. I had heard of nightclubs existing, but I'd never been to one myself. Never actually seen what goes on inside that entire other world of which I am not invited. It's not that bad. Well, the clubs I've been to are not that bad. That's all I'm saying. I'm sure there are really degenerate clubs. I'm sure they exist. I've not been to them. You'll have to see Rich Campbell about that. I watched Eldel scream with bated breath. Could I take a peek behind the curtain? Could I see what actually goes on in these places? It took her a solid 5 minutes of constantly trying to enter the full housing plot before the loading screen hit, and in she was going. And that's when the true magic began. I had little to no expectations. So seeing so many people all in one place, it started to blow my mind. And each and every one of them had the RP tag. Even as a Limsa Leminster degenerate, that tag was rare on my server. So the sheer fact that all these people were here role-playing was insane to me. I tried to do a rough head count as Eladel explored the building, and there must have been around 200 people stuffed shoulder to shoulder dancing. The first floor of the club consisted of a small drink stand manned by a rather dapper-looking Ellison. This is the only time in my life I will ever compliment those ugly fucks Ellison. Wow. I agree, though. I agree. They're not good. Based. And a very large dance floor, stuffed to the brim with people in skimpy glams. Shocking. Terrible. The second floor of the club looked over the first floor with a parapet, and yet more of it was covered with people waving light sticks through the air, along with a booth where the club's DJ stood. I was astonished. I was absolutely amazed, and I watched in awe as Eladel found side rooms to this club, including a fully equipped bathroom. And this is where my night went from wow to oh my god. This could have been our party. I'm very aware this could very much have been. It wasn't even our party. It was the party we attended, though. Eladel entered a bathroom stall and began repeatedly using an emote, which caused her and Catgirl to squat and make a pained expression over the toilet. I'd like to say to you all, listening to this right now, that I've not seen this, yet one of our housing competition winners was a library full of toilets stuffed with people. I have witnessed this, and it was a winner. It was a winner. Or in other words, it was the next level Mythic plus 25 roleplay that I hadn't ever heard of. Constipation roleplay. Myself and Eldel's other viewers began laughing as a string of 5 separate people entered the same stall as her and did various /shy or /sorry emotes and quickly ran out. Before whispering Eladel an apology for walking in on her by mistake. One person, however, showed concern, asked if she was okay, and she began replying in character about her troubles with the restroom. Bex, where is this going? If this turns into a giant shit all over the toilets, I'm not going to be happy. This went back and forth far more than I care to recount here. But after this little roleplay moment was concluded, I witnessed Eladel leave the stall and conduct yet another form of RP I had not known of. Hand-washing RP. I don't know why, but this is what drove me over the edge. The fact that she was so into it, so immersed in it. It made me realize I need to get a taste for this life myself. Wait. Pop the brakes. You're telling me that looking at a constipated cat girl who then washed her hands is what got you into roleplay? That's what it was. It wasn't the magnificent plays like the Crawlers put on for us last week. It wasn't all the people at partying and having a good time in a nightclub. What drove you over the edge was a constipated cat girl and washing the hands. That was the one that you were like, I need to be a part of this. Okay, sure. I got over there. Moments later, I found the club. I entered it after about 5 minutes, and I also logged into the DJ's Twitch stream, which featured a super wholesome old man and his wife dancing around an RGB turntable while DJing, along with a live feed of people in the club. Yeah, true. After some searching, I found the old man from Bex. And we all take a moment to laugh at Bex's little joke. Ha 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 ha. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. Thank you, Bex, for a wonderful picture of me strapped to an old man body. Appreciate it. That's fantastic. Thank you, Bex. After I took the plunge, my girlfriend and several other members of the Free Company also came along. Your girlfriend's coming? Did you tell her about the constipation RP? You've got to come. There's a constipated girl washing her hands. Did you tell her? You have to come to the party. I can imagine my conversation with Emma being somewhat different. If I told her that she had to get here right now, it's full on. I can imagine my wife not being too happy with that conversation. After I arrived, I began dancing on the main floor with all the rest of my Free Company while chatting. And something about the environment enhanced the whole experience. As much as you see videos of nightclubs, actually being there is night and day. True, and we will be hosting a party when the data center travel is coming. Just to let you know, it's in the cards. For those of you who want parties, we will be hosting a party when we can actually do the data center travel. I have a feeling we might crash the Imperium, but it's going to be good. It's going to be good. We might crash the server, but we'll see. As we're talking, however, I noticed an interesting figure running about the club. Enter into the tale, Salty. A Lalafellin man dressed in nothing but a Santa hat and a large fluffy beard. Running around the club, not just asking, but demanding /pets from people. Oh, that's not allowed. Don't pet the Lalafells. It's not allowed. That's against club rules. No touching the Lalafells. No touching the Lalafells. My free company and I quickly took notice of the naked Santa Claus Lalafell running around the club and encouraged each other to stay away and pretend he doesn't exist. Smart. You can get yourself very easily banned from nightclubs for doing that. Whilst, of course, still laughing at what he was doing. But I, of course, couldn't miss an opportunity to see it out. I actively encouraged Salty's antics, joining in, and I started demanding pets from people too. This did double duty to help me farm my pet counter add-on that all Lalafells are contractually obligated to have. There's a pet... Is this a true thing? Is there a pet counter plugin for Lalafells? This is a real thing? You have it, Bex? You're on 2K now? Good. 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 I'm on 1.6k. Good. Good. That's good to know. Of course, Salty and I naturally began talking after this. And after I gave him some pats, he curiously opened a trade window and placed some coke in the trade window. Okay, for our non-FF14 players, there's an item called coke in the game. It's crafting material, and you will get it at nightclubs because ha 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 ha. You will also get rubbers and purified coke if you're an esteemed MVP. There's a lot of that goes on. Now, I will be honest with you, this made me back the fuck up. To the uninitiated, this trash item is a universal stand-in for cocaine in the FF14 RP community. So this little naked Santa Claus quickly transformed from a meme into, my eyes, a very serious drug dealer. That was where it was pushing my RP boundaries. Constipation is fine. Cocaine on the dance floor is where I draw the line. This is where my line is. We've all got a line. The constipation's fine. The cocaine is a step too far. That's where we gotta stop. I honestly wasn't ready for the forbidden drug roleplay. I had barely gotten the hang of dancing or ordering drinks at the bar, which is well good. If you've never been to an RP nightclub, ordering drinks is the best. This was legitimately a serious next step for me to take all in one night. This is too much. I didn't know how much to pay him. How much does it cost? I love that you're like an actual person IRL buying drugs for the first time. Like you're buying your first like 10th of weed. How much is it? The guy's like, it's like £3, bro. Here's 50 quid and don't tell the police. I didn't know what to even pay him. He reassured me though. The first one's on the house. And if you give me a few more head pats, we'll call it square. That's how they get you. At home on New Year's Eve, sat in my chair, I felt uncomfortable. But I couldn't help but click accept. This is really cute. Immediately after the trade was completed, I physically ran back to the safety of my free company to start dancing. Oh, you think you're going to get in trouble? You think you're going to get in trouble? Are they going to come and get you? No drugs in the club. I've been a naughty boy. The night became more chill. as New Year quickly approached. And with quite a lot of fanfare from the live DJ, a countdown was started from 10, both on stream and in-game. And when it hit 0, the DJ screamed for everyone to spam as many spells as they could to celebrate the new year. I was never one for fireworks, but seeing 20 or so earthly stars pop all at once, it was beautiful. It is. It's quite the sight. If you didn't watch our New Year's Eve party, we welcomed the new year in 5 times across Europe. I think we went from like Japan to the UK. There was a lot of New Year's. Let's skip forward half an hour then. Most people have begun to leave the club at this point. The DJ packed up his things and ended the stream. And yet, my new year hadn't come yet. I'm an American playing in the European data centers, so I still had a solid 4 to 5 hours before I could welcome in the brand new year. And so I was, once again, left with little to do. It was then that I met another Lalafellin man. This time, with black hair and a very fancy suit. He was going around the bar area / sweeping. Oh god, it's Braggart. Oh no. And, troublemaker that I am, I decided I'll join in and help him clean up and started doing some sweeping. And as my free company and all started to go to bed, I worked together with this Lalafell, Ghoul's Gold, to clean the nightclub. I swept across from him for a short time before he whispered me, saying that you're just sweeping the dust back towards my area. And I'm making it take longer. I felt embarrassed that I had fucked up something as simple as sweeping and apologized before running off to sweep elsewhere. You are down the rabbit hole, aren't you, son? Yeah? You're down the rabbit hole at this point. You are not only immersed, but you're, like, in. You are fully in. Oh, Jesus Christ, he's in. Every 20 seconds or so, I would take a step forward as I swept, ensuring that I got every last corner. As we got to the bathroom, Ghoul's Gold and I did the most high-stakes death roll of our lives to decide who would clean the toilets. I know what happened in there from the elite constipation roleplay of earlier, and the last thing I wanted to do was have to clean up that mess. Unfortunately, luck frowned on me. I would be the one to take this bullet. And when I was done, I came out of the bathroom to see Ghoul's Gold collapsed on one of the club's couches from heat stroke. Oh, Jesus Christ. Luckily, I was prepared for this moment. I had several potions in my bag that I could use for this moment of roleplay. So I went over to the bar area, emoted to mimic grabbing something, and came back with a water bottle, which was in reality one of the expensive potions I had crafted for raiding. Thankfully, it worked a treat, and with rest and a short chat, Ghoul's Gold was feeling refreshed and as good as new. As we spoke, Ghoul's Gold invited me to yet another nightclub. He said they too needed our cleaning services and that he actively roleplayed as a cleaning agency for the nightclubs when they close. You're known in the community. You're known in the community for turning up to nightclubs to clean them up. Dude, you don't know how far the rabbit hole goes, man. He gets a phone call. He needs a cleaning operation. Call the cleaners. Oh, God. Braggart's out of a job. Honestly, this was so much fun that I leapt at the chance to go and clean up another nightclub excitedly. I had unlocked a new heroic form of roleplay, the cleaning RP. As a small aside, Mike, I would just like to remind people that the majority of roleplay jobs like security, bartenders, dancers are meant to enhance the club experience. However, and I freely admit this, being a nightclub's janitor makes 0 sense. It does add to the aesthetic. To be fair, it does, as somebody who's experienced being surrounded by several janitors, it does very much add to the experience is to see people cleaning up, especially if someone's RPing, like vomiting in the corner, which was my first FF14 nightclub experience, is as the night went on, people were getting like drunk and sick. And then seeing the janitors cleaning up and stuff, it adds to the atmosphere quite a bit. The only time we'd be working is after the parties were done. Thus, we had no audience. And so it was definitely RP for the sake of us having fun and for nobody else. But I went along nonetheless, and it led me to Louis Soir's Goblet, A true hive of scum and villainy. I actually had to do a quest as I had never unlocked the goblet before. Fucking noob. So Ghoul's Gold went far ahead of me, and I lost them for a moment. This club was different. It was set out differently, and I entered to see a coat check area immediately. As my glamour contained a pink rebel coat, I figured it would be appropriate to change into a new glam, and I was left with the choice to turn down a left or right hallway. Figuring they had the same area, I went to the right gang, and after following it for a few seconds, I came across a curious sight. I have been to this nightclub. I know this one. I know this nightclub. I have been here. This was my first party. You guys remember? You were there too. Yeah, this was I think this was our first nightclub visit, was this place. The black and red one. With the VIP area on the right-hand side. With the coat check area in the front. Yeah, okay, it's good. Stream backs me up on this. I think this was, unless this is something that's just got some similar setup, I think I've been here. But I came across a curious sight. There was a hot tub sectioned off in a little VIP area filled with stalls and tolls wearing swimsuits and stuff. I nervously decided when in Rome and approached. Despite the club supposedly having been closed, the VIP hot tub area was very much alive. A cat boy named Cunning was the first to speak to me. This time in /say. Ooh, fresh meat. Come and hop in. My brain instantly set alarm bells ringing. Big red lights were flashing around, and I figured, this is what ERP is. This is going to be an ERP thing, and I don't want that. I did not want to cross that line. I had already done drugs and found myself a new career as a janitor. ERP was not what I wanted, so I turned away. Yet, almost reading my mind, he whispered me out of character. This isn't a ERP thing. Just so you know. Come back. Come on. Come on. I promise you. It's not an ERP thing. It's not an ERP thing. He then whispered me again. We're just chilling in the hot tub. It's been a long night. We're just chilling. His attempts to reassure me were somewhat overshadowed by other people's /say messages from other parts of the club, featuring such memorable lines as, Mike, please read this in an uwu voice. No. No. I will not. /emo, bows down before your meaty tower. Or /emo, begins to purr and paw at your pantsy uwuntsies? Oh, pantsy wantsies. Ugh. Gross. Pantsy wantsies. There you go. Pantsy wantsies. Yeah, I couldn't even read it. Let me put this in the chat so you guys, and you'll see it on the screen as well. This is how this is spelled. So, as you can imagine why the uwu voice was not employed for this moment. Pantsy uwu antsies. Yeah, pantsy uwu antsies. Ignoring this obvious red flag about what was probably going on in the remainder of the club, maybe it wasn't going on in the VIP area. So I swapped glams to my tasteful swimsuit that you obviously had on standby. Even I don't have a swimsuit on standby. You have a swimsuit on standby, all right? Let's just fucking clear this up for a minute, Mr. Innocence, right? Mr. Oh, I've never seen coke in the game before. You immediately had an emergency swimsuit on standby. Let's just be fucking clear. I don't have a swimsuit. I absolutely don't. And I jumped into the hot tub for a while and started a little chat with our cat boy, Cunning. It was then that another cat boy, of course it's the cat boys, Omuhound, entered the hot tub area. And after he did, I quickly learned of the next ascension of roleplay, drunk drowning roleplay. That was our latest party. He relaxed in the hot tub while saying, "I love the hot tub," over and over. Cunning and I asked him if he was okay, to which he just repeated, "Hot tub. Love the hot tub," over and over like a Pokemon. We let him be until his head went under the water, and we sprung into action and yelled at him to get out of the hot tub. "No hot tub?" he questioned. "You need a break from the hot tub," I replied, but he didn't budge. It took me nagging him several times. "No hot tub. I'm sorry, no hot tub." It felt like an episode of Dora the Explorer, and after enough nagging, he finally had to sit outside the hot tub, and I told him I was going to get him some water and everybody's favorite cure-all for hangovers, bread. Now, I still had more potions from before, but I didn't have any bread to trade him. So I needed to go and seek out the staff of the venue and ask to order some bread. I love how this is just snowballing. So, what? Excuse me, though, Mr. Author. If I may be so bold, when are you going to start cleaning up, motherfucker? You're here to do a job, son. Right? And so far, you've turned up to work, took all your clothes off, and jumped in a hot tub. So why don't you get your goddamn arse in gear and get to fucking work? Lazy. For some reason, I was surprised to see there was actually a whole other nightclub there. It took me several minutes, and though I didn't find the bar, I did find Goose Gold, who was willing to help me out, show me around the nightclub. After showing me to the bar, though, and then he pointed at the secret ERP rooms, where people were definitely ERPing. I could see some of it in /say. He followed... Okay, I don't think I have been to that nightclub. The nightclub I'm thinking of did not have private ERP rooms in it. It was just an open dance floor downstairs, if I remember right. It did not have a private ERP area. It didn't. It did. Not that you could see, or maybe I couldn't see them. It was my first time there. But I definitely didn't. It did. I don't believe you. Follow me back to the hot tub, where we found Cunning and Omuhan talking. In the meantime, in the time I was gone, they too had become kindred spirits. And from then on, they followed each other like glue. I gave Omuhan the drink and the bread and decided to vibe in the hot tub with Ghoul's Gold. He was telling me about how the bartender at the club was talking to him earlier, and that Ghoul's Gold would be in charge of it once the last bartender left. Ghoul's Gold invited me to join him on this little adventure. I had basically given up any sense of shame at this point. See, that's what happened. You should have just gone to... That's... There it is. There it is. And I'm in. And I'm in. Yeah, it's over. In my brain, at some point, it just said, fuck it. I'll bartend for what is clearly a sex club. Why not? It was at this point that something unexpected happened. As we're sitting in the hot tub together, Ghoul's Gold suddenly changed his glamour. I stared in stunning silence as he proceeded to don a Christmas hat and fluffy beard, as the rest of his clothes disappeared. I learned that Ghoul's Gold, the dapper Lalafella man that I actually thought was kind of cool, turned out to be Salty, the drug dealer. He stood up, opened a trade window, and gave me more cocaine. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to say. So I just accepted the trade and said I looked forward to our bartending shift together. After that, he stunned me yet again by sending me an image link that contained a concept matrix screeny, a modded pose screenshot. A concept matrix screeny. What's that? I don't know what that is. I feel like I should know what that is. It seems like it's like a concept matrix screeny. It's a posing mod? Okay. Yeah? Okay, so it's like a model editor. Chris uses this add-on. This is the one for porn, right? It can be. Okay. But we don't use it for that, to be clear. Okay. So it's like a model viewer type thing where you can mess around with the background and stuff. Okay. He said he'd been working on... He said this is what he'd been working on while we were in the hot tub. And it showed my Lalafell in a highly suggestive position, kneeling in front of his Lalafell. Now, some of you might think this is a red flag. Yep. I mean, this isn't a red flag. This is the entire Soviet army. But, as I did mention to you earlier, at this point, my brain was saying, fuck it. So I thought, whatever, and just ignored it. Okay. Because it is a red flag. So let's go forward half an hour. Why not? I was led by Salty into one of the VIP areas. And behind a little curtain that I hadn't noticed before going through, I was led into a back room behind the bar where I met with the last bartender whose shift was finishing. He gave me some pointers on how to actually bartend and traded me a massive amount of various foodstuffs and drinks, meaning my expensive potions would be safe for the rest of the night. And under his watchful eye, Salty and I were trained in the proper method of being a roleplay bartender, of asking people what drinks they wanted, giving them the drink, and after about 3 minutes of this, Salty got bored and logged off. This isn't porn at all! This is garbage! This isn't pornography! Oh, what a bummer! And so there I was, left alone with the responsibility to keep this club's populace well hydrated. I had to do it now. I was now the only bartender. I honestly took to my new job very quickly. And it didn't take long for me to start adding little steps to my repertoire of giving people drinks. I would /wave, /welcome, /beckon people over to sit, ask them what they'd like, and I'd suggest drinks if they wanted recommendations. Then I'd turn around /consider in front of the row of drinks, use an emote to grab one, then turn around, jump back on top of the counter, because as a Lalafell, I couldn't reach over the counter, obviously. Then hand over and give them what they'd ordered. I quickly learned to /hand over before opening the trade window, since you can't actually emote while a trade window is active, dumbasses. And I didn't want to risk breaking immersion. And if nobody was there ordering drinks, I would sweep the counter and behind the counter, or if someone asked me for a cocktail I didn't recognize, I would use /tombstone to pull out a phone and look it up. Once I got the hang of everything, I began chatting with my patrons quite a bit, and accruing some decent tips, actually. While a lot of people only tipped a few hundred gil, some people would regularly take a liking to the performance I put on and would give me over 100,000 gil. I tip about 10k, usually. If it's somebody who role plays quite a lot, it's worth 10k. And I would profusely thank them. I also tended to take notes of the big spenders and engage with them more because cash money, baby. Cash money. If you've never done it, if you get to go to a nightclub or come to the next party we have, I'm serious, it's not an ERP thing. Can't stress that enough. Watch what the bartenders do. It's so fucking cool. It's really awesome. Like, they do, like, if you get, like, at the last one we went to, if you had the mega nuclear drink, they, like, mega flared behind the bar and did all sorts of weird shit. It was good. Some folks asked for special made-up drinks. The one I remember most was something called the Catnip Blue. I don't know the canon lore for this drink, but I figured I would ad-lib that it was a local Makote delicacy. Hence why a Laminson Lalafellan girl like me wouldn't have ever heard of it. Which they thought was a brilliant little backstory to what I was doing. And word spread of this made-up drink. Suddenly, I had a lot more Makote patrons asking me to make their local delicacy. This included Cunning, who wanted to order drinks for himself and several of his friends he met there. He said he'd be back later, and he was. Cunning came to order drinks from me no fewer than 6 times, eventually finding a favourite of my many made-up drinks and learning of their stories. He roleplayed being more drunk each time, and he showered me in tips and compliments. At the peak of it was becoming legitimately hard to keep track of all the people ordering drinks from me. All the while, I had an internal clock keeping track of when I last swept and was becoming worried that my bar was getting messed up as I was working too hard. This is a fucking rabbit hole you went down this night, is it not? This is a journey you went on. I'd also learned through Cunning that this club's DJ and staff had gone to bed quite some time ago, and he was trying his best to keep the party going. He told me I was also a decently large part of why the atmosphere was still rocking and rolling, as having a bartender there made the environment feel complete. Slowly, the number of new faces at my bar did slow down, and people would come just to sit and talk to me. The roleplay was still fun, and it felt really nice to just have time to finish sweeping the bar area. Cunning came back one last time. I began pouring his favourite again before he told me to stop. He's had enough, and he just wanted some food. Going into the back, I got him some animal crackers, and he graciously thanked me. He told me about what happened in the rest of the club while I was bartending. He told me that he had gotten 4 different couples to ERP, including Omu Hound, but that he himself couldn't find anybody who wanted to ERP with him. And the reason that nobody wanted to ERP with his cat boy, his ears were too short. It's always something, man. It's always something. People are picky. People are picky. Small ears. No, I quite cared. Oh, God. Did you roleplay with this guy? Vex. Now, I quite cared about Cunning at this point. I couldn't bear to see him sad. So I tried to reassure him. Mate, your ears aren't that bad. They are. Just look at them. Cunning took off his hat, revealing his ears for the first time. They're like little boy ears, he said. Mate, they look normal to me. Besides, you know, just because you've got short ears doesn't make you less of a man, does it, little man, eh? Hey, buddy? Doesn't, does it? I've seen loads of Makote guys with ears bigger, both longer and shorter than yours. They're all fine. And you know, I was shy of my ears once. I think they're too long for a Lalafell. But I know it doesn't make me any less of a potato. You're just saying that, aren't you? Cunning sobbed. No, I'm not. I mean it. I really mean it. You shouldn't try and hide your ears. They're good ears. And they're part of you. They're lovely. He paused for a moment before quietly opening a trade window. And he gave me 1 million gil. Fuck yeah, I thought IRL. yeah. Fuck yeah. Thank you. He roleplayed back at me. Fuck yeah. After finishing my Mythic Ear Prog, I decided to take a break. I sat my character inside the VIP area and used the Forbidden Cheat Engine / Sleep Emote. What's this? The Forbidden Cheat Engine / Sleep Emote to rest on the couch. Was ist das? Was ist das? Forbidden Cheat Engine. Oh, FF14. It lets you sleep in any location, according to Chris. You dirty, dirty plugin user. I bet you skipped the story. Fucker. After coming back a few minutes later, I returned to the bar. And as a new year was arriving for me IRL, I quietly popped open a Realm Reborn Red and danced a little bit at the counter to celebrate.
Oh, you're not feral.
It was then... Oh, no. Oh, no. It was then that a cat girl who had been sitting AFK at the bar for several hours whispered me, thanking me for role-playing so intricately and saying that she really enjoyed watching my performance. And it made her New Year's Eve so much better than just drinking alone in her room. And honestly, I felt that. This was so much better than I had planned to spend my New Year's. And it's so far been the best New Year's Eve party of my life. The cat girl made it even better by giving me 2.5 million gil. Cha-ching! Insisting fervently that I deserved it for making her night. I will admit, I didn't try to reject it that hard, because that was a lot of fucking gil to me. Poor. Fucking poor. And I kinda really wanted it, so I graciously accepted it. I stood around for a little longer after that, but Cunning had left, and the party left with him. So now that it was a ghost town, I went and took a couple of screenshots around the club before returning to coat check, re-equipping my coat glam, and walking off the Goblet's night. You didn't clean up? Wait. You didn't sweep up afterwards? You just left. He just fucking left. He didn't clean up afterwards. That's next shift's problem. You don't look, man. I managed a nightclub. You clean up that night. You do not clean up the next day. It's so much worse. So much worse. You clean up that night. Preacher, thank you for reading my little story. Through this experience, I fell in love with roleplay, and even tried to get into more serious roleplay, but was rejected because my character's out-of-character name wasn't lore appropriate for a Lalafell. You're not allowed to roleplay if your name's not lore appropriate? What the fuck? So I got left out of that community. I started playing D&D instead to get my roleplay fixed. But every once in a little while, I consider going back to try and find a nightclub to roleplay at once again. But sadly, I don't have the connections. You do now. I can hook you up, brother. I need to actually be the one behind the counter again, which is where I really want to be. Talk to Bex. She knows people. Bex is on the inside. Unfortunately, though... Oh, never mind. Unfortunately for my Final Fantasy XIV gameplay, I found the raiding in Endwalker isn't fun for me. And so the game has failed to grip me much beyond RP. And so, I have returned to World of Warcraft retail. And while I've gotten my mythic roleplay clears in, I still crave a little bit of glory in raiding. And maybe a cutting edge one day, even if I'm now guildless, skillless, and gearless. If anything exciting happens, I'll be sure to let you know. And I hope this story of my nightclub experience was able to entertain you a little bit. And I hope you all have a lovely, amazing, wonderful day. So thank you all. But yes, if you want to see some of the screenies I took around the nightclub after the people left, here you are. Oh, God. Sorry the lighting is bad. I hadn't learned about how to do shaders and whatnot. So they're all really dark. The legendary hot tub. Okay. Your glam's kind of not doing it for me, you know? Is this your bartender glam? Oh, you legitimately can't reach the drinks. Wow. You legitimately can't reach the drinks. That's kind of sad. Cute, though. Yeah, cute. For our audio listeners, it's still Lalafell with little red and black shorts on. Not Braggart confirmed. I agree. Actually, not Braggart. Yeah. There's no janitor outfit or nothing. Thank you so much for reading. I love you guys. PPS, if anyone in Chaos needs a Lalafell girl to bartend for them, hit me up. And sorry for being a cheeky bitch. Genuinely, we can put you in contact with people who recruit bartenders. Legitimately, we can do that. Yes, we can. We have quite a few connections in the nightclub scene now for when we run our parties and DJs and things like that. Same nightclub. Oh, shit. Is it the same nightclub? Hold. Oh, it actually is. Yeah, you guys aren't even memeing. That is actually the nightclub. That's legitimately... Yeah, join the crawlers. If you're in Chaos, get in the crawlers. That can get you in. This is... Yeah, it's actually the same nightclub we were in. Yeah, this was my first... I think it was our first one, right? This is our first ever party. Did you ever think you'd be acting as a middleman for roleplay? I will act as a middleman for anybody who's looking to have legitimate fun. If I can, I will. I don't care what it's about. If you want to have fun in a video game, I'll help you out if I can. Yeah, that's my take on that. Yeah, the one in October, right? It was my first... Yeah, the Black Sapphire. I think that's what it was called, the Black Sapphire, for sure. Amazing stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, that brings to the end of drama for today. There's another story in the wings that we will get to called The Clown Fiesta, which we'll get to. It's a short one, but it's awesome. Which we'll get to next time. But it's the end of our day. It's been a long old day. We've saved the world. We did all stuff. Arthur's cleared Ultimate. GG's, man. Another one down. Another one down. So hopefully, now it's... I'll make sure you check out the Ultimate video. Arthur's cleared. Congratulations to him. Is he still live right now? Because we can throw a raid over to him to celebrate. I think so. That'll be good. But other than that, I will be back on Monday. He cried. I'm not surprised. That was an effort. So I'm going to throw a raid over to Arthur's to spread the goodwill, share the trolley with him, and I will be back with you as soon as I possibly can be, ladies and gentlemen, which at the latest will be Monday. So have fun. Have a great weekend. Short of drama time? Nope. It's just gone 5 o'clock. It's usually we finish. I think we started like 5 minutes late or something. Spread our love, and I'll see you in a bit. Bye, guys.
Everything is negotiable. Remember,
No. The big bitch.
may I tempt you with my wares? Your patronage is always appreciated.
Bye, bitch. No. I don't do holy damage, that's pointless. Yeah. Oh, what? Is there? Dude, what? Where? Animacell? What?
Everything is negotiable.
Dude, what? What does it mean? There's an Animacell. I don't... Oh! I am clearly blind. Sure, why not? Let's go for that. That's part of the wild. That's poisonous. Alright, cool, yeah.
Alright, welcome back everyone. Today is the day. I cover every single Naruto episode all the way up to Shippuden and then like Boruto, like
No. Just no. Well, let's wake up. Let's go be back somewhere with you.
Until our next transaction.
Fuck. Alrighty. Let's see. Let's listen to how Netflix fell apart. That'll be fun, right?
One of the most requested topics on the channel recently is for me to talk about the rise and fall of Netflix. I would consider myself a bit of a movie enthusiast, so this is something that's been particularly interesting to me. Plus, when Jason Voorhees asks you to do something, you can't just ignore that. All of these requests are stemming from the fact that Netflix has been having trouble recently, potentially major trouble, to an extent where it has many people questioning the future of the company. The biggest way that this has been reflected is through their stock price. Within 6 months' time, it has dropped from the $700 range to the $200 range. To express that in a more dramatic way, Netflix has lost over $200 billion in value in less than half a year, with over $50 billion of that disappearing within 1 day. It became the worst performing stock of the year in the S&P 500, and just overall not something you want to be a part of at the moment. Like, if for some reason you had celebrated Halloween by buying a bunch of Netflix stock right around their all-time high, you may be panicking right now. Maybe that's why Jason is so concerned with it. silly. The main reason the investors have lost so much confidence in Netflix is because they've been having trouble growing their subscriber base. In fact, for the first time in over a decade, their quarterly report stated that they had lost subscribers, 200,000 of them over that quarter, and they predict potentially another 2 million of them in the next quarter. These are definitely things that I will be talking about in more detail here. There has been seemingly so much happening in such a short period of time. Back in December of 2020, I actually made a video talking about why Netflix was so successful, and at that time, I would have never thought I'd be making this video about their potential downfall so soon after. Oh my goodness, that first video almost entirely focuses on how they grew their original business of renting DVDs through the mail. You may remember that at one point, they were essentially an online version of Blockbuster. To summarize some of the main points from that original video, Netflix was an early adopter of DVDs themselves. It was impractical to send VHSs through the mail, so the introduction and rising popularity of DVDs in the late 1990s allowed them to exist in the first place. They were also very focused on the long term, sacrificing early profits to grow a bigger customer base and establish a more stable business overall. A part of that involved spending crazy amounts of money on marketing to those potential customers, and they used technology to generate recommendations that were considered to be far more sophisticated and personalized than what the employee at Blockbuster was recommending. It is strange to think how those two were famously considered to be direct competitors at one point, but all of those efforts, among many others, helped build Netflix to over 6 million subscribers and $1 billion in revenue before they ever streamed anything. Netflix has existed for 24 full years, 1998 through 2021. The first 12 were mostly concerned with the DVDs, while the next 12 were more concerned with streaming. So I see this as the perfect opportunity to pick up where I left off on the last one and talk about what has been happening during their streaming years. It was a slow start. The first ever Netflix streaming of any kind was announced in 2004. There was a lot of excitement going around after they announced that they would be joining forces with the DVR company TiVo to provide a revolutionary new service that would allow you to access movies over the internet straight to your television. TiVo was going to develop those set-top boxes, while Netflix was going to secure the rights to show the movies and TV shows, a plan that may have been too ambitious because it didn't work out. Reed Hastings, the CEO of Netflix, later called it overly optimistic because they had trouble getting the licenses and TiVo had trouble making the technology work. Overall, it was a big disappointment. The first true Netflix streaming didn't occur until 2007, when they introduced their online platform called Watch Now. Again, maybe a bit of a disappointment in some ways. It had a comparatively limited selection of 5,000 titles compared to the 85,000 that were available through the DVD rentals. But it was meant to be more of a compliment anyway, like a little something extra for their subscribers, with the DVDs still being the main attraction. The following year, they made a deal with Roku, where for $99, they would sell these boxes where you could access Netflix by connecting them to your television. By this time, the library of titles had doubled, and it was starting to become more attractive to the customers. Over the next few years, they worked toward making it more accessible by creating deals with TiVo, Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, Apple to make it possible to access Netflix through their devices. By 2010, streaming had surpassed their DVD rentals, and they recognized that moving forward, streaming would be their main focus and the DVDs would be secondary. Obviously, over time, DVDs have become less and less significant to a point where today they account for less than 1% of their total revenue.
Oh, yeah, pet.
That this is not the first time that Netflix has run into some major trouble. Their transition from DVDs into streaming was arguably worse than what they're facing today, in that it led to upset customers, a drop in subscribers, and a dramatic decline in their stock price. See, to start 2011, Netflix was charging $10 a month to rent one DVD at a time and to stream everything over the internet, all together as one price. Then, in July of that year, they announced that they would be separating it into $8 a month for the DVD and $8 a month for the streaming. Technically a price reduction if you only wanted one of the services, but a sizable increase if you wanted to stick with both. Their customers generally wanted both and saw the increase as being unreasonable. Here's where it gets really bad. 2 months later, CEO Reed Hastings put out what appeared to be an apology letter. It started by saying, "I messed up. I owe everyone an explanation." But by the end of it, he announced that the two services would become even more separate with different billing and different names. The streaming service would continue to be called Netflix, but the DVD rental service would be renamed Quickster with a weird spelling. telling. The whole thing was almost unanimously confusing and disliked. They made a funny sketch about it on SNL where it keeps getting more and more ridiculous that I highly recommend. The whole response was so negative that they gave up on the whole Quickster thing not even a month later. But within those few months, they had lost 800,000 subscribers, their stock price was reduced to about a fourth of where it was, and it took 2 years to fully get back to that point. Again, when looking back at it, Hastings admitted to being overly confident and moving too quickly. Probably one of the biggest reasons behind that recovery and their overall success in recent times would be their original content. This right here is what I find so impressive. Netflix was able to transition from renting the content into making the content. It's like if GameStop became one of the world's leading video game makers. In 2013, they debuted House of Cards, the first major TV show to be shown exclusively on a streaming service, and have since been responsible for some of the biggest movies and TV shows of our time, many of which have been recognized at the Emmys and the Oscars and all of the other award shows. I should also mention their international expansion is playing a big part. It was around that time that Netflix was first available in Europe, and they've since been aggressively making it available throughout the rest of the world. There are currently Netflix members in 190 different countries. That was my overview of the rise of the legendary Netflix streaming service. So now I want to talk about some of the potential reasons behind their potential fall. First off, I know that a lot of the reports out there are making things look really bad with these juicy headlines, and I agree that these are concerning times for them, but I want to take a look at a few external factors outside of their control that suggest this may be more of an unlucky short-term setback. Inflation is another one of the bigger stories. It's been really high lately, and when people are tight on money, they are likely to cut costs by eliminating unnecessary expenses like streaming subscriptions. Probably not one of the biggest reasons, but potentially contributing to the loss in subscribers. Another external factor would be Russia. They suspended their service in the country in protest of what's happening in Ukraine. Again, not major, but it did cost them 700,000 subscribers, meaning they otherwise would have reported an increase. But what I think is a bigger factor would be the pandemic. When everyone was locked down, stuck at home, do you know how many people were just sitting around watching Netflix? They saw a major increase in subscribers. The big story is that they lost 200,000 in a quarter, but combining the 2 years prior, they had gained over 54 million. We can theorize that people subscribed when there was nothing else to do, and now that they're back outside living their life, they don't need that subscription anymore. There's a lot of ways to look at this, but maybe they started growing artificially fast, and these recent numbers are working to even things out. But let's get to the deeper issues. Competition, maybe the most obvious one. I think we've all seen how competitive things have gotten. Streaming in general has been seen as a huge market, and everyone has been racing to be a part of it. And Netflix does remain the biggest streaming service out there, but there are so many choices now. How many of you have subscribed to something new within the last 3 years? Some of the new ones over that time are Disney Plus, Paramount Plus, and HBO Max, which is part of Warner. All of them are backed by major movie and TV studios that have been putting out content for about a century. When, keep in mind, Netflix started in 2013. It's hard to compete with that. It's forced Netflix to raise their spending on content well into the billions. They create their own stuff and license stuff from other companies. But those other companies are the ones behind the other streaming services, many of which now want to keep their content on their own service. It's hard to guess exactly where it's all headed, but the stronger competition certainly doesn't seem good for Netflix. And that leads me to the next potential reason: pricing. Just take a look at their Quickster fiasco to see how touchy pricing can be. Remember, that's when they established their streaming price at $8 a month, and that has almost doubled since then, with the biggest increases happening since 2019. Of course, there are other variables to consider, such as the competition and the extra money they've been putting into their content, but back in 2011, everyone freaked out when it was $16 a month for streaming and DVDs, and today it's $15.49 for just streaming. That can relate back to the inflation. If you're going to cut out a streaming service, it might be smart to cut out the most expensive one. Or even if you're not having money troubles, you might just think that it's not worth it. I'm just saying, they're setting the bar high, and they had better be offering some great content for that price. A possible solution to all of this would be introducing an ad-supported, cheaper option similar to what many of the competitors are already offering. I don't know, Netflix has always been known for not having commercials, and I think they benefited quite a bit from it, but then it might be a smart trade-off. And they have announced intentions of doing something like this within the next few years. Finally, the biggest reason that the company seems to think is behind their trouble is password sharing, potentially because it's something that they have more control over. It's the thing where you give your password to your friend or family member who you don't live with, and they can access your account. It's explicitly against their terms of service, but they have done very little to prevent it.
You know, when we were growing fast, it wasn't the high priority to work on.
I think they do see benefits from it when someone uses someone else's account for a while. I imagine they're likely to get their own account eventually, but holy cow. They estimate that 100 million households are doing this, 30 million of which are in the US or Canada. Doing some quick math would suggest that 1 in 5 households in those countries are watching Netflix without paying for it. They say that they see it as an opportunity because they can improve their numbers if they simply figure out a pricing strategy that would make those people pay for it.
We just got to get paid, some degree for that.
They have been testing some ways to address it in select countries where they have the sub accounts and add extra member accounts for a few extra dollars a month. It's unclear exactly what's going to happen with it, but I imagine if they continue to struggle, something along these lines will be incorporated into their pricing. But as we keep seeing, the pricing can be touchy, so I doubt they're going to rush into it. Let me know in the comments, what do you see for the future of Netflix? Are they going to figure out a way past these issues like they've done in the past and remain the most popular streaming service, or are they going to get lost in the shuffle and maybe ultimately decline all the way down? That wouldn't be my guess at the moment, but these are questionable times. Also, do you agree with my reasons behind their potential decline, or do you think there's more to it? It's been debated that politics and scandals may be contributing factors. Maybe you're critical of the content itself, which kind of relates to the pricing. Why do you think Netflix is running into so much trouble again after such an impressive 10-year streak? And finally, I want to know, what do you think is the best streaming service? If you could only subscribe to one of them, which one would it be and why? And any other thoughts you have about
It's probably Netflix. They're crazy.
I'd like to hear what you have.
It's like Reddit on crack.
Thank you for watching.
What Professor Colors? Yeah, probably. It's definitely worth having.
This video is sponsored by Kaspersky Privacy Checker. A 32-year-old woman arrived at her doctor's office to address a recent uptick in anxiety, distress, and trouble sleeping. She told her physician that she had been hearing a series of songs playing in her head in a near constant loop for all waking hours. The songs were so entrenched in her brain that she was unable to read a book or even participate in conversation without getting lost in thought. It can be a jarring and annoying experience to have a song stuck in your head. Usually, we can just wait it out, like when water gets stuck in your ear. But what do you do when the chorus to your favorite song loops in your head for months at a time?
Ooh, a rare.
Watermelon sugar high. Watermelon sugar high.
Hey, Chill.
Watermelon sugar high.
You alright?
Yeah, but I got this song stuck in my head.
Well, at least it's a good song.
Good or bad, I still wish it wasn't in my head.
That's something you got in common with our case today. As I was saying a moment ago, a 32-year-old woman came to her doctor because songs kept playing on repeat inside her head. It got so bad that she could barely focus on the people around her. She came to the doctor because her apparent lack of attention was having a negative impact on her personal relationships and her academic performance as a psych student in university. She was fully aware that the music was coming from inside her head. However, the songs were not triggered by sounds in her environment. The songs themselves were ones she was familiar with, and they were true to the original form and melody.
Oh, what songs got stuck in her head?
Songs she liked, songs she didn't like, commercial jingles, fragments of instrumental songs, and even purely vocal pieces. The first time she experienced this phenomenon was 12 years prior to her doctor's appointment. Her episodes were temporary, usually going on for a week or so, and reoccurring on a monthly basis. Symptoms weren't so bad initially, but gradually, over the course of 6 years, they grew in severity and became associated with compulsive behaviors.
Compulsive behaviors? Like what, bro?
She tried listening to different songs with headphones at max volume to shake loose the earworm. But the cacophony that resulted from the songs in her head and the songs through the headphones gave her intense anxiety. However, if she played the same song in her headphones that was playing in her head at full volume, she achieved some short-term relief. The end of the case file notes that her inability to control her brain's musical obsessions were connected to obsessive-compulsive disorder. But even those of us without OCD can get songs stuck in our heads. So, what's behind this manic musical malfeasance?
It's an earworm, defined as a section of a musical composition around 20 seconds long that repeats over and over in our heads against our will. Earworms can last anywhere from hours to months. The term itself comes from a German word, der Ohrwurm, which means musical itch. It was coined by psychiatrist Cornelius Eckert in 1979. It's a way that our brains search for meaning. They usually show up when our brains are looking for distraction, when they're idle, or sometimes when they're just overwhelmed. One is also more susceptible to earworms when they're tired, stressed, or have neuroses, according to James Calaris, a University of Cincinnati professor.
The most common earworms have notes that are held for long durations, and with smaller pitch intervals. But this mostly indicates which songs are easier to sing than others. For example, I'd argue very few people get Schoenberg stuck in their heads. But Harry Styles, on the other hand,
Tastes like strawberries on a summer evening, and it sounds just like a song.
Buddy?
Oh, sorry.
If a song is easy to sing, has an element of predictability, and has some kind of novel idea to make you remember it, it's a candidate to become a notorious earworm. These three things are also what makes a pop song go viral. A song that you heard recently is also more likely to become an earworm. A study conducted between 2010 to 2013, examining earworms, calling them involuntary musical images, found that participants who were exposed to a previously unfamiliar song 6 times were more likely to experience that song as an INMI than participants who had only heard the song twice. The same study notes that it's uncommon for someone to experience an entirely fabricated song that your brain made up all on its own. That being said, a few self-composed songs have been recorded in previous studies. They used 58 different songs in the study, but the most commonly mentioned earworms were Bad Romance by Lady Gaga, Can't Get You Out of My Head by Kylie Minogue, Don't Stop Believing by Journey, Somebody That I Used to Know by Gautier, Moves Like Jagger by Maroon 5, California Girls by Katy Perry, Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen, Alejandro by Lady Gaga,
These are all
and
good songs.
Poker Face by Lady Gaga. But, like I said earlier, this study was from 2010 to 2013, so a few more possible earworm songs have come out since then. Let me know in the comments what songs get stuck in your head. You do need to be careful about what information you put out onto the internet though, even with favorite songs. If it's connected to something like your personal security questions, it could prove to be a major security risk for your online privacy. I'm excited about today's sponsor, Kaspersky Privacy Checker, which gives me the brass tacks of how secure my online presence can be. As a creator, virtual or otherwise, I have to be especially careful about what information I give out on the internet. One misstep could reveal my personal information to millions of people, like old baby pictures of me.
It's even harder when all of the privacy settings for each social media platform are hidden or specifically confusing. If I want to lock down my TikTok, Kaspersky Privacy Checker walks me through how to disable the features I don't want.
It's also great that Kaspersky Privacy Checker is totally free, and is an easy way to learn what you can do to keep your information safe. Just pick your platform, hardware, and the level of security you want, and Kaspersky Privacy Checker will give you all the tools you need to secure your social media. Check out the link in the description and get the tools to keep your private information private. Now, if we get back to our story with the never-ending earworm.
But bro, how does it work? Like, I love songs that are easy to sing and I get that they're catchier, but why does my brain get stuck on stuff?
Our brains use patterns to help us understand, process, and recall information. Before smartphones, or even books for that matter, humans had to rely on verbal communication and memory to retain and pass on information. According to cognitive scientist David Rubin, humans developed methods to expedite and simplify that process. Things like rhythm, rhyme, repetition, and alliteration. You know, classic literary devices. For example, Homer's Odyssey and the Iliad were originally folktales passed from generation to generation verbally. Since they had to be memorized, Homer and other poets used epithets, short descriptive phrases before specific characters and things, as mnemonic devices to help them remember the words, as shortcuts to get a line to fit into their metrical form, and to let their audience know that their favorite character was about to show up. Now, 3,000 years later, we're still using those same methods to write pop songs and post moody poetry on Reddit.
Okay, so music contains culturally significant patterns. Who knew? But I still don't understand the mechanics behind how one of those patterns gets stuck.
It all comes down to the science of memory. Yay, science. More specifically, how our working memory functions. Working memory can be broken down into 4 main parts: the phonological loop, which collects acoustic and verbal information; the visuospatial sketchpad, which collects spatial and visual information; the episodic buffer, which integrates info from the previous 2; and the central executive, which controls all 3. The part that we're concerned with today is the phonological loop. There are 2 parts to this verbal system: the phonological store, which holds information as a sound image, which decays quickly, and a rehearsal mechanism, used to keep information from the phonological store fresh over long periods of time. These 2 systems together form the titular loop. An earworm is when a song gets stuck in the phonological loop. Sometimes when auditory information is held in the phonological store, the rehearsal mechanism takes that information and repeats it over and over and over again. Your brain is trying to keep that information fresh so you can use it, but the problem is you don't need your brain to work so hard to remember it.
Ah, brains. Always working hard, even when we really, really don't want them to.
But bro, you never did say that the woman from the beginning got rid of her earworms. Did she get rid of her earworms?
Well, her case notes that her involuntary musical imagery was rooted in her comorbid mental illnesses, which included OCD, so treatment for her included pharmacological and psychotherapeutic techniques. Earworms, for the majority of us, are benign, and they'll go away eventually. But if you want some tricks to get rid of one, don't try to block it out. If I told you, don't think of a pink elephant, odds are you're gonna think of one. And why wouldn't you? That's amazing. Trying to brute force an earworm out of your system by ignoring it usually just gets it stuck in deeper. Instead, you can listen to a different catchy song to replace the song you hate. Or, since earworms are generally partial bits of a song, you can listen to the entire song to satisfy your brain's need for repetition. Funny enough, you can also try to chew gum to get rid of a nasty earworm. The sound of your jaw chewing is sometimes enough to counteract the rhythm of the song inside your head. Sometimes easy solutions aren't enough. If you, like the woman from our case earlier, find earworms interfering with your life and you can't seem to get rid of them no matter what you try, therapy might be the best option. At the end of the day, earworms are a natural symptom of our living, thinking brains, and they're a side effect of tens of thousands of years of evolution, both biological and cultural. Watermelon sugar. Ah! Hello, dear viewers. If you like this video, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe. I'm also always looking for new ideas, so leave me a comment below if you have any particularly good ones.
The world of gaming is a strange one, and every month, GameRanks puts together a collection of the weirdest stuff. Hi folks, it's Falcon, and today on GameRanks, the 10 weirdest gaming stories of April 2022. Starting off at number 10, Call of Duty Vanguard has a new interesting anti-cheat feature called cloaking, in which the Ricochet anti-cheat system detects that they are a cheater and rather than banning them, makes it so they can't see or hear any of the other players. Now, everybody who is not a cheater can still see them, so everybody who's not a cheater basically has free reign to shoot the ever-loving bejesus out of the cheater. It's an interesting and maybe appropriate punishment for cheating in an online game, having no idea who or what is killing you as you lose the match. Now, I don't think this is brilliant or an innovation or anything, but I do think it's funny that the developers joked you can identify cheaters by finding players spinning in circles yelling, "Who is shooting me?" Now, you're being shot by the people who aren't cheating in the game and are now getting points off of you deciding to cheat. Was it the best decision you could have made? Did it give you a real advantage? No, it did not. At number 9, Snoop Dogg is now a playable character in Call of Duty. Yes, so in Vanguard and Warzone, Snoop Dogg is an operator. You can get various rewards for going up through his progression path, and along with him comes some legendary weapon blueprints. For instance, the West Coast Bling assault rifle, that Shiznit SMG, and the Bong Ripper sniper rifle. He's also in Call of Duty Mobile as well. In all versions, he's got voice lines, progression, and he looks completely out of place in Call of Duty. It's wonderful. There is nothing I could criticize it for. At number 8, apparently a new mode in Final Fantasy XIV, a 5v5 PvP mode called Crystalline Conflict, has caused one of the producers of the game to ask players to stop engaging in certain behaviors that have been deemed rude. Probably the core of all of this is kind of just giving up when your match is going to not go your way, when you're going to lose, when that's imminent. But to give a couple of examples from the list that he said isn't nice and should stop, is, for instance, repeatedly using the quick chat phrase "nice job" when a disadvantageous situation arises. Same goes for repeatedly saying "good match" before the outcome of the match is decided. And then also just repeatedly using any quick chat phrases. Now, he didn't make rules about any of this. Like, they didn't make it so that you can get in trouble for doing any of these behaviors, and there aren't any new consequences for any of them. So I think maybe our man doesn't really know how trolling works. Because when you just ask people not to do stuff, they do it on the internet. That's kind of how the internet works. So that's gonna be my guess as to how that plays out. I might be wrong. Everyone might be respectful of his wishes, but I don't know. I've been on the internet a while, and I know what happens when you say, "Hey, please don't do this on the internet," without establishing some kind of consequence for doing that on the internet. People do that on the internet. At number 7, somebody made a mod for Skyrim in which it uses a vocal synth to, instead of say Dragonborn every time a character refers to you, it says your name. So you know how you enter in your name into the game, it takes that and uses an AI tool called XVAS Synth to synthesize the voice of the character that has already been recorded 10 years ago, 11 years ago actually, and they say your name instead of Dragonborn. Now it doesn't work with dragons because their voices are all dragon-ish, I guess. It's kind of the only way to describe that. But you install XVAS Synth, you install voices for all of the characters, and then you run a batch file, overwrite the files in your Skyrim directory, and voila. Now everybody knows your name, which is only slightly weirder than everybody knowing that you're the Dragonborn right off. And it's actually pretty cool, although the lines that contain your name become text-to-speech.
I knew he wouldn't
We're
be
here
able
to arrange
resist.
a temporary truce to allow 6 Dragon Killer 42069X is here to deal with the dragons, nothing more.
Which is kind of robotic, but not as bad as it used to be with all of these text-to-speech type things. The AI ones are a lot better. It also makes some interesting implications about returning to old games with mods. I mean, in theory, people could make very interesting additions to games using XVAS Synth. Moving on to number 6, we have started to see mods for the Matrix Awakens city. It's a pretty amazing city build that was used as a tech demo for the PS5 and the Xbox series. It was brought to the PC, so we saw actually a pretty amazing Superman mod for it. And now we're seeing a Spider-Man mod for it, which is, I mean, a little bit less amazing in terms of the additional graphics created for it. However, it does actually look like it works pretty well, besides the fact that the web webs he shoots out don't necessarily look correct. In all honesty, it could probably pass for a Spider-Man game, with a little more development. The weird element to this story is that random people on their own seem to be making workable superhero dynamics in this amazing looking Matrix Awakens city. And it's kind of showing up a lot of these studios that, for instance with the Superman one, haven't really been able to make a game that works right. Now, this Spider-Man one more or less tries to use the same gameplay style as the PlayStation Spider-Man games, and it doesn't quite do it. It's a little janky, but it's impressive that people are inserting these things into this amazing looking city. It's kind of a preview of what these games are going to look like this generation, and frankly, it's exciting. At number 5, a user by the name of Starfighter76 has been making MS Paint game maps for over 300 games. And he started doing this in the early 2000s and has made an absolute ton of maps from various types of games, like old Final Fantasy games, 3D platformers, basically anything you can imagine. He's made an MS Paint map and included a guide as to how to get through the area, and they all have a character reflective of the game. Like for instance, the 2D Zelda games, which had side-scrolling dungeons, if you look at that map, you can pretty much immediately tell what they are. When you see maps from Paper Mario, or like I said, the old Final Fantasy games, they just reek of the character of the game. Like there's some element of it that just is unmistakable because there's little art flourishes and little stylistic things that only certain games have. And even though he's doing very simplistic versions of it in MS Paint, it's noticeable. I mean, if you've used game FAQs and looked through maps on there, you've probably seen at least one of his maps at some point. Good job, Starfighter76. That's a long time to be making MS Paint game maps. At number 4, at Terminal A of the Boston airport, somebody attempted to bring a PlayStation 3 through security that was not in great shape, and security mistook it for a bomb, evacuating Terminal A, closing it off, and, well, messing up everybody's Easter Sunday. That was the day it happened on. Now, we don't know if it's a PlayStation 4 or a PlayStation 3, but it was probably one of these two on account. They're kind of the only ones that could be the age that you would expect somebody to be traveling around with in a banged up condition. I want to say I kind of think it was a PlayStation 3. Those things were weird looking. And it's not as though the system itself was a bomb. I mean, it sold all right. Certainly didn't beat the Xbox 360, which actually did overheat and screw itself up, kind of detonating in its own way. But it was an oddly shaped black thing that, if it were in bad shape, would look like something out of Star Wars. At number 3, Diablo Immortal was announced 3 years ago for, if you remember, much to the bane of a lot of people, mobile only. And over the last 3 years, as people have talked about it, the demand for it to be on PC has been made pretty apparent. And it's never really thought to be an actual possibility, because again, the game was announced as mobile only and had a number of functions that seemed like they could only be done on mobile. But this month, Blizzard went back on that and was like, we're launching on mobile and PC at the same time in open beta on the PC as we're tuning this thing to work on both platforms. They said they figured that people would probably just play it on emulators on PC anyway, so it made sense to make the PC experience worth playing. And I think that's a good reason to do it. Honestly, it would have been nice if they just did that from the start, because I think a lot of people wanted to play this on PC from the start. It's kind of a controversial announcement if you remember. At number 2, Square Enix president Yoshiki Matsuda decided that he wanted to reiterate that he would like to create play-to-earn blockchain video games in which you could ostensibly play or create content for and earn a Square Enix cryptocurrency that I guess could be worth something. Basically, Matsuda's been saying stuff like this and irritating people with it for a while now. Nobody really wants NFTs and cryptocurrencies in video games except for a tiny little select few. And I think maybe these gaming executives sense the new breed of whale coming from there. I don't know, but no one likes hearing this stuff. It's weird that they just come out and say it. It does make their stock jump, though. Wonder why. And finally, at number 1, The Quarry, the new game from Supermassive Games, developers previously of Until Dawn and the Dark Pictures anthology. The Quarry's got 186 unique endings. I don't really know what else to say about that. That is insane. The amount of effort that would have to go into that is just so incredibly high. And Supermassive Games is known for making pretty good quality games, so I'm pretty interested in exactly how different those endings are. Of course, we won't know till the game is out, which is on June 10th. That's all for today. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you think. If you like this video, click like. If you're not subscribed, now's a great time to do so. We upload brand new videos every day of the week. Best way to see them first is, of course, subscriptions. Click subscribe. Don't forget to enable all notifications. And as always, thank you very much for watching this video. I'm Falcon. You can follow me on Twitter @FalconTheHero. We'll see you next time right here on GameHanks.